We're going to have a pop quiz of Movie Groovy. Movie Groovy 101. There could be many variations on Movie Groovy. But let's learn the simple one first. So do we have our feet together or our feet apart? Apart. So feet apart. Toes pointing forward with knees on. Let's bend the knees and start to rock side to side, pulling the feet as though you're pulling them out of glue. Breathe in, breathe out, and watch that your head doesn't lean you. Stand tall, right through the sideways, so that when you come to this foot, you're not over here, right? This is mountain pose, so it's moving from one mountain pose to another, yeah? Nice, good. Now let's add some easy shoulder motion. Why do we do this shoulder motion? What does it do? Lubricates the shoulder joint. So brings and warms the synovial fluid. As the shoulder comes up, which muscles are contracted? The bottom of the shoulder? Trapezius. A little bit of deltoid. Two main ones. Trapezius and what's coming up? What's coming up here in the back? Levator scapula. Elevating the scapula. So primarily trapezius and levator scapula. Nice. As the shoulder blade releases down into its pocket, which muscles support the shoulder blade down into its pocket? One thing. And there's more than that, but let's just call it one. Which are the pocket muscles of the shoulder blades? The teres serratus anterior. Nice. Good. The serratus anterior are your pockets, right? Good. This is a great, don't you think this would be a great way to take tests? Moving like this? Yeah, you do a lot better probably. All right, nice. Now let's take the elbow to the side just a little bit. How come we take the elbow to the side? To move the rhomboids. As the elbow comes back, the rhomboids protract the shoulder blade toward the spine. What else? Slightly opens the chest. And also develops the range of motion slowly. Because if you did this, it'd be a bit weird, right? Nice, good. So now let's take big circles, breathe in. And as you exhale, open the chest. So I saw in some of the sequences, take the arm up and release the arm. And I'm not sure that I like release the arm, because that just means you're doing this, right? So sweep the arm across the body. Feel the chest open. Inhale as you come up. Feel your shoulder blade come down. So now as we do this, we stretch the chest, and what else? The latissimus dorsi stretches because the arm is coming up. What else? What's the difference? Biceps. Yep, biceps. Right, good. All right, so we do these for a while. We stay directly side. We don't rotate. Yeah? Good. Now we rotate. And when we rotate, what's the first thing you look at? Knees bent.
Knees are bent.
Knees are bent, and what's heel is lifted. Great. What's another thing you might say?
Arms loose at your sides, not up.
Arms loose at your sides, right? What else?
Let the head follow the body, don't lead with the head.
Okay, head follow the body. Stand up tall on the longitudinal axis. And
You're not straightening your leg.
feel your legs and pelvis and belly muscles turn you, not your shoulders. Yeah? Good. All right, now let's roll the arm up the side of the body. Breathe in and exhale, reach up tall. Bend the knees, breathe in and exhale, stretch side. So which muscle is getting a big stretch all the way down the side of the back right now? Latissimus dorsi. Latissimus dorsi. What small muscles that connect the shoulder blade to the arm are getting stretched if we get good reach here. What are the names of those muscles? So what are the names of those muscles of the
Teres
rotator?
minor and major.
Teres minor and major. What else?
Subscapularis.
Subscapularis. One more. Top. Teres minor and major. Sits. Remember the muscles are sits. What's the I of sit? Infraspinatus, the muscle from the shoulder blades to the arm. Great. Now let's take right arm up, circle it across the body. If you don't have a lot of people with back injuries, breathe in. Exhale, so that big muscle, latissimus dorsi, really stretching. And now because we're getting flexion of the spine, what muscles underneath latissimus dorsi are getting stretched? Quadratus lumborum. And also, as we circle over and the arm drops, which muscle of the rotator cuff gets a little stretch? The first muscle of the rotator cuff. The serratus? Supraspinatus. Yes. Good. Now, both arms up, breathe in. That would be too many of those, by the way. Exhale, bend the knees. So what are the things we're looking for as we're circling our arms?
Elbows down.
Elbows down, right? Don't leave with the elbows. Bend the knees. And what else with the knees?
That soft opening over the.
Open them toward the baby toe, because you'll get a lot of people doing this, right? Where is your weight? To your heels. What else should we mention? Sit back in your heels. What about when we come up here?
Your arms should, you
Make
should
sure
extend
that
them
you
as,
keep your
and
thighs
keep your
back.
Right,
Facing each
don't
other.
arch your back here, right? So keep your drawers in, nice. And shoulders only, breathe in, take the shoulders up, exhale back and down. Breathe in, what muscles are lifting the shoulders up? Two of them, main ones? We said it before? Levator scapula and trapezius. What muscles are squeezing between the shoulder blades?
Rhomboids.
Rhomboids major and minor. What else? Lower trapezius. Yep. And what muscles are stretching in the front body?
The pec minor.
Pec major and pec minor. Yeah, mostly pec major, right? Because you're not getting as much external rotation. Very nice. Yeah. So that's the kind of thing that it sounds like, gee, we're just doing this, right? No, we're doing this, but we're doing a lot. So just knowing those things makes it have more meaning for you, not just, oh, now let's do this, right? Does that make sense? All right. So, oh, and then you could throw cat stretch in there too. All right. So, Pat, will you be our model? Yeah. Yoga model. All right. So somebody come and show me where Pat's trapezius is, and trace it on her body. No, come and put your hands on her. Don't be afraid. She only bites on Saturdays. Yeah. Like a shawl, right? So from, I'm going to turn her this way. From the base of her neck, right? Remember we said connects at the base of the occiput, down to the 7th cervical vertebra, to the acromion process, and all the way down the mid-back, right? So to about here. So that's, if you think of it, the trapezius is like a shawl, right? It's like a shawl that comes down her back. Okay, now, we're a rhomboid major. Where are the rhomboids, just in general? Major, minor, no. Yeah. Yes, and which way did they run? Up and down or side to side?
Not a trick question.
No.
Because I know you can separate, so I would say they run side to side, but they
Right.
can.
They're on a diagonal,
Okay.
like this, side to side,
It was
right? Right? No, you're correct. They're more side to side, yes? All right. Serratus anterior. Come and show me where her serratus anterior muscles are.
Inside surface of the shoulder blade.
And where do they connect?
And they cut around the rib cage underneath.
Right, right. So let's just go like this. And get it there. Good. All right, so like that, right? So when you take your shoulders down, you feel this support here, particularly in something like plank. Okay. Triceps brachii. Right. Right, so triceps. You don't have to know all of it. But what's important about the long head of the triceps, different than the short head of the triceps, it connects, the only one that connects to the scapula. Scapula, right? So from the elbow to the scapula. So that's why that muscle is important for chaturanga, right? Because it helps to pull the shoulder blades back and down. And latissimus dorsi, show me where her latissimus dorsi is. Laura,
We can do it
good.
It's all, oh, I'm hearing it connects over somewhere.
So it's not up here.
Oh, well.
Yeah. So it is from her arm bone down her back to the mid back and then all the fascia. So it doesn't have any, lat doesn't have any musculature in the neck. Yes? Okay, good. So these are the things that when I send you home with homework, these are the things that I want you to look at because you kind of need to know that. All right. Thank you so much, Pat. Very good. Okay, so let's get our concise book of muscles out, if you don't mind. And let's look at page 58, if you would. Because today we're going to start with some ball rolling. Because if we're going to do stability practice, where we're going to stabilize the upper body, we want it to move. Because if you stabilize tight muscles, what happens? They just get tighter, right? So we want to have mobility before stability. So say, for example, you are going to be working on teaching chaturanga. You might do some ball rolling first to make it so that the muscles are open enough that the shoulder blades would move well and the chest would open. So you're giving your students a better opportunity to do it well and safely. Does that make sense? So I want to go over ball rolling for the upper back, and we're going to do that in partners. So you'll learn, and there's many ways to do this, but I put I'm always trying to put the most generic way, right? And we'll learn to place the ball with the partner, we'll switch it, so that you have this tool to use. In Yoga 1, sometimes we use this not as a preparation so much for anything, although for sure I would do some stretching, which I'll show you, but really because everybody needs to do this. Because when I first got the balls, I thought, oh, well, I'll show people how to do it once, and then I'll do it at home. And then I realized that nobody was doing it at home. And so when they come here, they were actually happy to do it. I thought, oh, they'll go, oh, I didn't come here to do balls, I came here to do yoga. But people are happy to do the balls. So, you have to be judicious in how much you use the balls, but still. All right, so what I wanted you to see, there's a great picture of the ligament, the nuchal ligament there, ligamenta nucha. Can you see that big ligament? Where we talked about that big ligament that holds your head onto your C7 bone?
Is that the same one that the track connects to?
Yes, And so that's the one that keeps your head from falling off, particularly in cows and animals where the head comes forward, or when you run. Makes it a little less stress on the neck, it's more stable. So I just wanted you to see here, and then as you turn the pages and you go to page 60, and then the next page over, page 64, you'll see that there are lots and lots of little muscles all the way down the spine, right? So it's not just these big muscles that we're talking about, but there are longitudinal muscles, all of these sacrospinalis muscles, all of these erector spinae muscles. Then when you go down, there's the semispinalis, so those are more muscles that attach from the vertebral bodies to the ribs, yes? And then when you go down a little lower, or go a little further, then you get all the little multifidus muscles and the rotator muscles. So if you think along your spinal column, you think, oh, I just have these big muscles. You actually have lots and lots and lots of little muscles underneath the big muscles. Does that make sense? And I wanted you just to look at that so that when we roll, you know how we put the balls touching on either side of the spine? We understand why we're doing that, right? You know, for sure there's fascia there. There are other muscles over those little tiny muscles. And I'm quite certain that somebody who is really, like Gordon, who's really into fascial release, would say, well, you always have to move the fascia on this one fascial train in this direction. And that would probably be specifically for people who have trigger points or pain. But in general, we're just doing the, you know, general group. Rolling up and down is just fine. Don't you think that rolling up and down is fine? Feels good on you, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you have somebody that has fibromyalgia, for example, and has trigger, a lot of people with fibromyalgia have trigger points between the shoulder blades, and they come and they say, you know, I felt just awful after I did that ball rolling last time. Then say, so either don't do that, or was there a spot where it felt okay, or don't do it so hard. You know, it just kind of depends. It's like the lady from a cancer center with the big scoliosis. Forget what her name is.
Herman?
No, the other one, the newer one. She said that was the balls were too much for her back. The one with the real humpy scoliosis. I don't remember what her name is. But I think she just, and we talked about it, and I think she just pushed too hard. She was trying to like really be enthusiastic, and I think she just overdid it. So the truth is that, you know, anything you do can cause a little bit of discomfort. And you know from being in classes that the first time people do this, you're going like, and other people, brand new people, are going like. So like I wouldn't do this with people on their very first day to yoga if it were a whole group of first dayers. But inevitably, if you have a first dayer and everybody else has been doing it for a while, they kind of get into it. And they still have that kind of deer in the headlights look. Like, what the heck are we doing? But hopefully the group energy helps them relax. Yes? All right. So we're going to get out Mr. Boning, and we're going to go through rolling the spine. You may not roll every complete section. Well, I guess you will. I want to do this relatively quickly, but I do want to make sure we know how to place the balls on one another. Yes? All right. So let's get 2 balls, and let's get a partner. Pick somebody who is not your study buddy, maybe. Should we do that? Just have somebody different to work with. The first person to go gets them. So the way to find it is this. You traverse down the curve of their neck till you feel the big bone. Right? When you feel the big bone, that's the C7 bone. So it's hard to just go zoop, but if you do this, you can find it, right? And the big bone, see? The big bone. See how big it is compared to the one above it? Yeah. Very big, yeah? So where I like to start with people, because a lot of people can't reach back here to get the balls back here, so you have to walk around and help them place the balls there. But if you start here, everybody can place the balls. So everybody starts not feeling too weird. Oh, thanks, appreciate it. Okay. So what I will say is let's start placing the balls. Trace down your neck, find the big bone at the bottom of your spine, put the 2 balls touching, and I will make sure they watch me first. Put the 2 balls touching on either side of your C7 bone, the base of your neck, and you're just going to roll a little bit on either side of the neck. Now I want you to be with your partner, and I want you to watch where they place them, and I would like you as a student to place it wrong. Each time you're going to place it wrong, and your partner's going to put it where it's meant to be. All right? Can we do it? Okay. So you place them wrong, and then your partner place them where they should be. Please. Go ahead.
That's wrong.
But you got to do it on the wall.
So should you raise them up, or should you?
Do it relatively quickly.
Here.
Great. So you say, hold the balls up. Get your hands in there. Take the balls. Now tell her to come off the wall. Now you come in from.
Good catch.
So you work from their side. Go from the side. That's it. Don't wrap your arms around her, Anthony. Go from the side. Yeah? Sorry.
They're not bending the knees.
Yeah, okay. Stop. Good. Have you got it? You done? Everybody got it? You got it? So you're rolling like this. And so then you'll get people, because this could take all afternoon, so I'm kind of going to push it along. Then you'll get people who are locked knees, or they're standing on their toes, or their feet are back against the wall and they're arching their back like this. So you want to say lean. Can I get it right? Sorry. You want to say, and I will do this as I'm demonstrating. Place the balls behind your neck, lean back on the wall, walk your feet away. So it's like you're sitting in a chair and arms are hanging. So if you see someone like this, invite them to open their arms, yeah? And then you tell them you might have to move the balls again with your hands, yeah? Okay, so next area, we're going to put the balls touching on either side of the spine, just below where we were rolling. We're going to have them touch somewhere between the shoulder blades, right? And then you'll roll from this point up to the neck. And if the balls move, that's okay. You can lean a little bit. And if you need help, we'll come around and help you. All right, so person who is the roller, you can't get them there. You're like this. So partner, you put them there for the person, please. Okay, here. And go from the side. Go from the side. Don't reach around their front. That's it. That's it. And then roll on either side of the spine. So you're going to make it small. You're just going to make it small. So if you need to move them again, yeah, move them again. That's good. You're just from here to here, okay? You're just going from where they're placed to the base of the neck. So from the mid-shoulder blades to the base of the neck. Yeah? Everybody can place them where they need to be. Keep going. Tell me when you're done.
Step away from the wall. And then a little bit more step away. Yeah. So like you're sitting down in a chair.
And if the person feels uncomfortable, then you say, or just where you're comfortable. Because that might feel comfortable for you, and it might be scary for her. She might feel like she's going to slip.
Yeah.
Okay, next. We place the balls where your thoracic spine curves into your lumbar spine. So kind of at the bottom of your rib cage and rolling that middle thoracolumbar juncture. Can we do that? Help your partner place the balls. Usually people can place them here, but just in case. There you go. You just have to squat a lot. Yeah. No, we don't want to go fast and scared so that everybody Right, at this point, this is a good point. At this place, you want to say, if the balls go side and you feel them really sharply in your kidneys, that's probably not a good idea. So keep them on either side of the spine. Not that it would hurt your kidney, but it's not out in your kidney.
Yeah, no, I would come
Now we would be a little more warmed up than this if we were actually doing this. Okay, so the next part, the lumbar spine, is a little tricky to roll because the lumbar spine goes in. So the way to roll the lumbar spine is to flex the spine safely with hands on thighs. So watch, sorry Brian. So now I put the balls kind of at the rim of my pelvis. And I walk my feet away, hollowing the belly, rounding the back, and I roll the bottom. And then I may find that I don't get all the way up. So I might take those balls and put them up a little bit more to find the lumbar spine in its entirety. Maybe it will take 2 placements to roll the lumbar spine. So can you, as a partner, place them for your partner, yeah?
All the way down to the sacrum?
Start them at the rim of the pelvis, so at the top of the sacrum, on either side of the spine touching. Yeah. And you have to walk your feet away and round your back. I can do it.
Let me see if I can flex. There we go. Go up from there.
Well, that's how you got pressure, you know?
So go ahead, round your back forward, bum away from the wall a little bit.
It's weird. You're right. Yeah, they're a little bit spread out.
That hurt?
Especially if I
It's not you, really.
If I push too hard,
Yeah. Control.
turning to the side. But the
Bum
rest of it.
forward, please pushing
And I
back.
feel like they go out as they go up.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right, good. Christy and I were just talking about how with really older people, falls can be difficult because I think the most comfortable thing for them is sacrum, right? Because they can roll them on their sacrum and roll them on their feet. But if they're already configured like this, it's really hard for them to get back enough to get them rolling. So doing more of the side things and things are better, and we'll show those as we go. Okay, so after that, and the other thing I said to Christy is you don't have to do all of these every single time, right? You've been to classes where I just roll the chest, or I just do the space underneath the shoulder blades. So it doesn't always, but I want you to have the whole thing, right? I'm not going to go into a whole lot of hip rolling today, but because if I'm going to do something where I want all of this musculature loosened up, I might roll the hips, but let's go to that in another day. Let's just, even if I'm just at the rolling the spine, I will roll the sacrum. So you put the balls on either side right here, right? So you're rolling right here at the SI joint. So put the balls right there. Now the person probably can put them, I don't necessarily place these. The person puts them themselves, and if they have them in a weird place, but rarely do they have them in a weird place. It's usually a good place. So can you put your own balls there and roll? And it should feel, this one should feel kind of nice because you're getting that big insertion of the gluteals.
Feel right.
Yeah. We're rolling, Mike.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you.
Around and around, up and down, on a diagonal, doesn't matter. Yeah. There's so much
And
going
if that's
on.
quite sensational, would that be
Yeah.
because we're not warmed up?
Is it quite sensational for you?
Quite.
It is for me too.
Yeah, so maybe it's just that you haven't done this very much, maybe you're not warmed up.
I've never done this before, part before.
Oh, okay, all right, yeah, it's not, a lot of fascia here, right? And a lot of fascia that adheres to skin. So if you look at that picture of the fascia on the monkey, well, while we're here, why don't we just do it, because then I can go get the picture. Let's just put one ball down, and let's roll the glute on the right side. So you're going to, here in the glute, you roll all the way to the rim of the pelvis, all the way to the side to side, all around, up and down, stir the pot there. Right side glute. And you always encourage the breathing, right? Slow breath in, long breath out.
Physiology.
And when you're doing this in class, it's nice to put music on, but keep encouraging the breathing and be careful about everybody breaking into massive conversation because they can't feel what they're doing if they're chatting. I mean, if they make a little comment here and there, but I just, you know, anything like this always is kind of grounds for mindlessness, and that's not really what the practice is about. Let me see if I can find that picture. I don't have a human picture of all the fascia there, although you may have seen it in the body worlds, maybe in that book. But I have a good picture of gorilla fascia. Oh, maybe there's some. How does that feel? Pretty good?
That's sensational.
Sensational, yes. And this is a good opportunity when you're teaching us to discuss the difference between pain and sensation and pain and suffering. So pain is something that generally we want to pay attention to. It's something that will make us go, you know, like we get on a nerve or we're on an area that isn't safe and we have an intake of breath, right? Pain that's safe, sensation, is where you go, ooh, ooh, ah. That's kind of sensation. It doesn't make you jump. It doesn't make you suck your breath in. So that's a good way to distinguish it, because as you're doing this, you can't feel what they're feeling, right? Then, the difference between pain and suffering, who knows what that is?
Attitude.
Suffering is what you tell yourself about.
Pain is what you're feeling, suffering is what you're telling yourself about what you're feeling. Which doesn't mean to judge anybody or yourself, but just saying that we actually amplify pain when we say, oh, why does this hurt so much? Oh, this is my bad leg. Oh, I hate this area of my body. I hate this one. All of those things, yeah? So look at how much fascia the gorilla has there.
Wow.
Right? Oh, sorry. I'll come around. Did you roll your left side?
Is the fascia the white?
Yeah. So, and figure if that binds to the skin, I don't have a human, that's the same thing. This looks like me when I wake up in the morning. So, and you see where else it is, right? So that's why when you roll
It's
there,
more sensational.
yeah. Lots and lots of fascia right there, right? Good. Okay, so when you are going to roll butts, let's do this on the left side now since you're there and you're rolling the left side, yes? Another good place to roll is this area between the sit bone and the thigh. So if you bend over and you find your sit bone with your hand and you move over towards your thigh and you roll in there, so bend your knees, hands on your thighs, stick your bum out and roll in there. For some of you, that'll be really sensational. For others of you, that will not be so sensational.
And for some of us, it feels phenomenally good.
There you go. So extra bonus point, extra muffin. You actually get your pick of sleeves. If you can name either one of the two muscles in that area.
Oh my goodness. Piriformis.
And
Wait, is it a
piriformis
P?
higher.
Oh, that it's higher? Okay.
You were right.
Hamstrings after.
That's what I was thinking.
So it's below the piriformis?
There's with a G. One is G.
Gluteus maximus?
Gemellus.
Gemellus.
And the other one is like an obstinate muscle. That's why you have to roll it out. Obturators. The gemelli and the obturators are the main muscles here. All right, go to the other side, your other gemelli, your other obturators. These are stabilizing muscles. Every time your heel touches the ground, something stabilizes that thigh bone in the hip socket. They're also external rotators. They're part of the abductor group. Yeah, good. Okay. So what I generally would not do all of this in a class. I'll either pick, if I'm going to do the spine and this kind of for an overall thing, I'll go to sacrum. If I'm going to do the hips, I'll probably roll out the spine, I'll roll out the sacrum, I'll roll out the hips, the whole surface and the lower area, and then I'll go down IT band on the outside like this. Or what I usually do is I offer the roller. So we haven't really gone over the roller yet, but when we get to roller, we can do that. But for a lot of people, the roller, especially in Yoga 1, or for sure Ultra Gentle, I don't think we do this in Ultra Gentle, it's just too much. But watch for a sec. Sorry. You can put the ball at your hip on the side and roll it side to side, up and down. And then you have to move it with your hand. And you roll it side to side and up and down. And you can move that ball all the way down. And I usually put my foot behind and go side to side and up and down. And I do this with Yoga 1 people, because what I'll do is I'll do this and I'll have done a couple of these Vini Yoga things just to feel how it feels. Then I'll roll this and I'll do it again. Everybody goes, oh wow, amazing, right? Because it's more free. So let's leave that for that day. For the day we go back to hips in review. Let's go now to the rotator cuff. Yeah, because we roll down the spine. Oh, actually what I do next, if I'm going to do the whole thing, is I go to the rhomboids. So now you're going to place the balls not touching on either side of your spine. So apart on either side of the spine. And you're gonna roll all around. I usually use a student for this. Do you see that position, how terrible that was on his neck? Yeah, all around in here, right? So you're gonna place the ball. Sometimes you can place them like this if you can't reach them like this between your shoulder blades. And then don't feel rigid. Feel like you can move. You can move up and down. You can move side to side. Move any way that feels good for you. So help your partner place the balls and then roll a little bit, and then the other partner place the balls and roll a little bit, yeah? Which muscles are we rolling here? Rhomboids and?
Bottom of the rotator cuff.
Trapezius, lower trapezius. Did you place for them? Did they place them in the right way? Yeah, and I would go slower and more breathfully. Because that would be good if it were your practice, but if you're demonstrating it, demonstrate slowly. Yeah. There.
I think it's too high. Maybe right there. Should it be like where
Above the bra strap. Between the shoulder blades, right? And you find your partner's shoulder blades.
That's good.
Good. I mean, I think we really offered our students a service when we brought this in. I felt very lucky personally to have started doing this. All right, great. So let's put, I'll always tell them, because we don't want people like sliding and doing a banana peel fall. So I'll say put your ball safely where no one will trip on it, and only have one ball, please. Because if they have one in their hand, they get more concerned with holding that other ball than they do rolling. So one ball only now. So, and if you are going to really do this, take out Mr. Boney and show where you want them to roll. So we are going to roll the medial or center closest to the spine side of the scapula now. And when we do this, we're going to pull the arm. Now Mr. Boney is pinned so his shoulder blade doesn't move. We're going to pull it across so that the shoulder blade moves away from the spine, so we'll literally be rolling underneath it. So we'll be rolling the attachment of those rhomboids, yeah? And remember in the gorilla picture, all that fascia underneath there. So the way we do this, and let's do it together. Take the ball in your right hand. Take your left arm across your body like you're shaking hands with somebody. Take the right arm underneath the left and place it inside the left shoulder blade. Then, trapping the ball between the wall and the shoulder blade, take your right hand and continue to pull the left arm across your body. Roll up and down and side to side, so you're going up and down here, and I call it scrubbing. You're scrubbing the rhomboids. Now, if you would, every second person, so Karen, check Christy, look and see if they have it here on the inside of the shoulder blade. Yeah? Check the person next to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, inside there.
So I just want to make sure
No.
I understood properly.
No, look.
Headstand.
Because this is the inside of the shoulder blade. If this shoulder blade came across, it's in here.
Right.
You had the outside was here.
I'm
Yeah.
just saying, when I saw you put it.
Oh, when you saw me doing it,
That's what I
yeah.
thought it was there, that's why I got confused.
See, because here's my shoulder blade. You see?
Yeah.
You see where my shoulder blade is? Where is my shoulder blade? Touch my shoulder blade. Yeah, there. See, here's my shoulder blade over here. This is the inferior edge of my shoulder blade.
Okay, so it's in here.
Right. So I think what we should do, I'm not sure you're perceiving the shoulder blade. Everybody takes their partner, and let's do this. Your partner, you put your hand, you put this down for a sec. You put your hand and you find their left shoulder blade, okay? I want you to trace it from the tip, the inside edge, the top, and the outside edge. And then when they pull their arm across, I want you to literally feel it move and find the inside edge.
And I was
Let's do
thinking
that.
inside being closer to the spine. That's where
But it is inside, closer to the spine. In here.
Okay.
Yeah? So everybody do that because that's kind of important for all of us. Yeah? So go with your partner, find the bottom of their shoulder blade. And it's harder when they have a lot of muscle on top of it.
Yeah, there it is. It's very that way. You're right in there. Right. All right, fine.
Yeah?
You know, when you're doing the ball,
Which side? This one? Haven't you ever done this?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, but not in a while.
are you finding it?
It's easier to find when it's inside.
Now place the ball and let your partner see if you place it right. The other thing you want to remind them, as soon as you hear my voice talking, stop talking, okay? Because then the video won't get it either. As soon as you pull the arm across, make sure you remind people not to be in strangulation pose. Because then you're tightening this trapezius to stretch this, right? So feel like you have a brick sitting on your shoulder, or like this is a teeter-totter and this side of the teeter-totter is down. But you don't want them, and they will do this. The other thing they'll do is they'll have their thumb down, and a lot of them will have the wrong arm across, but they'll be rolling the other side. Very, very common. So make sure that they're rolling on the side that they have their arm across, yeah? Okay, so partner who's going to place the ball yourself, do it wrong, and let your partner fix it for you, okay? Do it wrong.
I want to do this.
Oh, it doesn't matter, yeah, either one, yeah. Yeah. Normally I would do all one side, but I wrong today.
Right, so tell me to do it right on your shoulder blade.
Yeah, do it wrong.
Right here, bring that against the wall, and then that. Actually, I need to do it slow.
Okay. And I, you're gonna do it. So here's
Your shoulder is about right here. So
That's why what a difference.
Let's turn it.
But no, I thought you said it's cool. We're supposed to keep it right now. This is the outside. Right, so I just, okay, I understand that now. So I'm saying for me, I mean, I knew the when you said it, so I'm just saying my interpretation. Yes, was such a difference.
Yes. With the arm position?
Ooh,
Yes.
well, you're gonna do the whole area.
Okay, that's what I was trying to understand. So the whole area.
So that whole area, here, all of this.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought it was one or the other.
Yeah, no. All that whole area. I see. Okay. Yeah.
So it's all of this.
Um.
Oh, I thought it was four.
Yeah. If you're going to place the ball, it depends. Like here, I could find him very well, but for some people, you can see it better if they're over here, right? It just kind of depends. Depends on the way they've kind of situated themselves. I was going to say only go from this side, but then as I saw him doing it, I thought it would be easier for me to find his shoulder. But you see what I just did there? Don't do that. See, he was leaning back, and I just pulled the ball up.
Oh.
Bad idea, right? So don't do that. Yeah, so he's like one of those people that has a lot of musculature here, so it's not easy to find. So here's the tip of South America. So from the tip, I can trace up, yeah? And then I can find it. Yeah, does that make sense? All right, good. Let's switch. Other partner plays, other partner do wrong. Tracing the shoulder blade. So once you've got them in, and I stay on this for a while, and then I'll walk around and look, and if it's somebody that's brand new and they're going like this, I'll say it's pretty sensational, isn't it? So don't push so hard. You don't have to do and kind of explain the fascia sticks to the skin, the fascia sticks to the muscles. That's what's feels a little feels a little tender. So you can also compare it to a deep tissue massage. The first time you go get a deep tissue massage, it's more sensational. If you go for another one, your body starts to acclimatize, and the person does actually loosen up some of that fascial binding. So then where I like to go is to this spot. So the spot between the arm bone and the shoulder blade. What muscles are here?
Teres minor.
Teres minor.
I said it.
What else?
Subscapular.
There is some serratus anterior here, yeah. And what else? Subscapularis, meaning the underneath of the scapula. And then if you're going to say that, then what is this?
Suprascapular.
And you think infraspinatus, right? Subscapularis, infra, because it's underneath the spine. Infraspinatus, it's underneath the spine, right? And the bottom of the, and the top of the lat, yes? So you're getting all of that, yeah? And the way you do that is, and it's not going to kind of work as well because we're using different arms and switching people. When I do this, I always stay on the same side so that I completely free up one shoulder, and then we'll do a stretch, and then you see the difference, right? It won't quite work that way today. So then I'll say, find the place where your arm meets your torso, that juncture next to your armpit, and see, go ahead and do this if you would, ladies and gentlemen. See if you can feel this bottom outside edge of the shoulder blade. And that's why it's good to have Mr. Boney, because I think that helps. You can poke it with your fingers. That's where the ball goes. Watch for a sec. On the left side, you turn completely left. And now you're just rolling up and down, maybe a little bit around and around. You might have to move the ball with your hand numerous times to just get that outside of the shoulder blade as it connects to the arm. Inevitably, you walk around and the person, instead of having it here, you just lay your arm down, instead of having it here, has it up here somewhere. Yeah? You want to feel like they have it right where their shirt meets their thing. Right here in this, you know, where somebody called it the bra fat. Right in here.
Yeah, exactly what I was.
Yeah. Okay, there you go. All right, Dawn, I'm sure you know where that is. All right, so partner place it incorrectly, then teacher fix it.
Left side.
And their arm is just hanging. Arms just hanging.
My shoulder blade's right here.
Yeah, and then watch them roll it a little bit and see if they get it right. Let them get a little bit of this rolling. Okay, watch her from the back. This one you want to watch from the back. Oh my gosh. That would be very distracting. It's like you have 3 boobs or something. And let the arm just hang. Let the arm hang. It's right in here. I do the arm side.
Yeah.
There's your shoulder blade right there, so we want to get, I'm going to bring it on the shoulder. That right in there.
Yeah?
Between there and... Feel that?
Yeah.
All right, we got it? Next. Once they've done that for a little while, then I say, still left hand, right? Please take your left hand out like you're asking for an offering out in front of you. Take the hand all the way up the front line of the body and rest your arm on your head. So you're holding the back of your head lightly. I used to say, take your arm up and put it over, and everybody's like this, with the arm bone internally rotated. So I found this new thing, which is ask for the offering and come straight up the midline, and then the bone is wrapped. Does that make sense? It just works better in terms of getting the arm where you want.
Can you put the arm here, or should it be up?
Yeah, actually I like it over the head because as soon, feel the difference. Put your hand on your head, feel your shoulder socket. And feel where your arm bone is in relation to your head. Put your hand on your shoulder, feel where your arm starts to go. It starts to go out, right?
Yeah.
So I want the arm up and I want it relaxed. I don't want them to be impinging the shoulder and I don't want the muscles to work too hard. Then we're going to roll from that bony scapula up onto the arm And this will take more than one ball placement. So you can't roll from here all the way to here in one fell swoop. So start here. Which muscles are you rolling here?
The tricep and the...
Right here?
Not yet.
No, not yet.
Latissimus? What else?
The bottom of the rotator cuff.
No, I'm not rolling the deltoid at all.
That's up top.
The bottom of
You
the-
said them before. It's a review.
Subscapularis?
Subscapularis,
Is it the teres minor again?
teres minor, teres major, infraspinatus. This is the bottom of the rotator cuff, right? Look at Mr. Boney. So now, with arm around and up, now you're rolling all of that connection onto here, right? And that's why this wrapping action in everything we do is so important. As soon as this does this, as soon as this arm, which would be wrapped like this, comes out, this bone comes closer to here, these muscles shorten. As soon as this bone comes all the way around, look at the distance between here and here, right? So that's why that wrapping action is such an important action in yoga. Okay, so now, let's partner. I want you to do this or something like that. And can you do that for me? Yeah, so say she's got her arm kind of wacky. So I come behind her and carefully, I might ask her if she has a shoulder injury. I might just say, bring your arm around like this. Or I might just say, can you put your arm on top of your head so that your bone is right into your head? You can, it's almost obscuring your eye. Yeah? All right. Let's do that and let's roll. Each partner roll both sides, both areas, the lowest part and then up onto the triceps.
You want to start with that?
So here you turn directly left. Yes.
You're turning left.
Right over, cover that eye. Right over the eye. Keep your head straight.
Up to the triceps, I think. So this is the bottom of the rotator. Right. So that could be your lat. But I won't be there. I would say that's probably. Yeah, right.
Can you bring your elbow around first and go there?
Almost covers that up.
You cover the eyes just a little bit.
There you go. Yeah, get onto the triceps, get onto the bottom of the rotator cuff. Oh. Let's all do it on the left side because maybe we'll get a little bit of muscle release after that. Okay, have we got it? Have you both done?
Very sensational.
Okay. So usually, again, we're doing this kind of fast. It would be a little more sequential. Usually, once I've rolled this and I've rolled this, these are the primary muscles that allow flexion of the shoulder, that allow the shoulder blade to do what it's meant to do, which is wing up like that. Do you see that action that it does, right? See the tip of South America down? Tip of South America moves to the side for the arm to come up. So when you, oh gosh, poor Mr. Bowen is not going to make it very well. So when you roll all of this stuff out, you increase flexion of the shoulder, right? You actually might increase tension here in the supraspinatus and in the trapezius, yes? So if I'm not going to do, if all I'm going to do is just roll out shoulders, I'm not going to do a whole lot of stretching, the next thing I would do would be go here, yeah? But I usually leave this supraspinatus till a little bit later, because what I'll do after I've rolled here and here is I'll do some kind of downward facing dog variation so that we can feel the difference in our two arms and so that now we can use that rolling, right? So if it were in ultra gentle, if I could, or yoga 1, if the circumstances were right for the right people, I might do what we talked about last week. I do it with one arm like this. Mike does it with 1 foot forward. Either way. Now, but what I'd probably do is I'd pull back and say, which one do you feel you can pull back on more, the left one or the right? Which one feels more spacious, gives you the best stretch? And frankly, I'm not sure how well you feel it here, but this is possible. You could reach that hand up, watch that they're not arching, all of that stuff. I might do here, but what I really like is hands on chair. Because when you put your hands on the chair and you step back to downward facing dog, it massively feels like your left arm is longer than your right. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So I don't want to pull all that out because we've gone over that. And then for Yoga 3 students, I would have them do downward facing dog. And then I would have them do downward facing dog with one arm wrapping, or one arm cupping. So can you watch for a sec?
But would they cup the one that they've just been working, or cup the one that they haven't been working?
What do you think?
I think the one they haven't been working is the one they would cup, because the one that's stretched out is the one
Right.
you want.
Right. So say we had already reviewed the idea of wrapping the shoulders in downward facing dog, then we roll out the shoulders, then we practice downward facing dog. And now, oh yes, I feel a little, this is Yoga 3, right? I feel a little difference. I can get back here a little bit more, yes? So then we might talk about one arm downward facing dog. And by the way, before I would have done this, what else would I have stretched out?
Quadriceps, hamstrings. I mean, I meant
yeah.
hamstrings.
Because you don't want somebody just feeling like they're closing this angle, not because this is tight, but because the hamstrings are shoving them forward, yes? So if you're going to do something like this, you'd always want the hamstrings taken care of first. Okay, so if I'm here in downward facing dog and I want to do one arm downward facing dog, the most important thing is that I don't do this. And this is the common error. Because people think, oh, I just want to do this on one arm, like it's a trick. Yes, but it's really not. What we want to do is create stability from hand to hip in the shoulder and in the rib cage. Does that make sense? And that's why when you have a student, particularly a woman, not always, but often one of these flexible women that has that sloping downward facing dog, you know, something like this, then you go to take one arm up and you really, really feel it. So it's a kind of a great way to illustrate the need for stability and for a more balanced pose, yeah? Okay, so in one arm downward facing dog, we create the wrap, and now when I put this hand underneath my shoulder, did my left arm change at all? No, it should stay exactly the same. And when I pick up this arm, did anything change at all? No, everything should stay the same. So that's the determining factor. If you pick up the arm and everything starts to shift, you need to figure out why. You know, if it's bend your knees more, or you need to wrap. And this is a good place to think about that idea of almost doing this. I'm going to exaggerate. Almost fanning the hand like that, right? Almost like that. So I'm not actually turning my hand in. I was just doing it to show you. But I am creating rotation in the shoulder, feeling that rotation all the way down into the hand. Does that make sense, everybody? So I thought, do you feel warm enough to do downward facing dog, or should we do some hamstring stretching first? Maybe we should do a little hamstring stretching first.
A little bit.
Yeah? Yeah, and then we'll come back to some more ball rolling. Yeah, I think that's a good way. All right, who would like to lead a Vini Yoga, 2 on each side?